Hello and welcome to another edition of The Bandwidth. I am Rosie, your host, and today we are talking about the 12 hooks to create engaging content. But before we dive in, let's talk about some housekeeping items. Please engage with us, ask us questions in the chat. We will get to it during the conversation and after the conversation. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please make sure that you subscribe, click the thumbs up and hit the notification bell. Comment your biggest takeaway from this episode. We definitely want to hear from you and engage with you. And if you know one person that can benefit from this live, please share the link with them. And if you are ready to go live, please sign up for my 3 must-have tools. The link will be in the bio. So thanks again to the Style True team for putting this show together. Couldn't do it without them. So let's do this. Again, the title of this live is 12 Hooks to Create Engaging Content. We have our guest here, Elliot Kay. He's the co-founder of Speaker Express. Let's welcome him to the bandwidth. Welcome, Elliot.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. It's nice and early here in the UK.
Yes, thank you so much for being flexible. What time is it there?
It's 40 minutes past midnight.
Oh my goodness.
See, that's dedication, Rosie. That's dedication.
Absolutely. And we appreciate it because we know you're going to drop some gems. So
I hope so.
Yes. So let's dive right on. Well, before we get started, I'm sorry. I said a little bit about you. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background, please?
Sure. So I run a company here in the UK called Speaker Express, and we work with business owners and entrepreneurs to use public speaking as an advanced communication tool to really position yourself as the go-to expert, as the go-to authority. I myself have got 8,000 hours of delivering talks. I've been in international public speaker training. I've written 4 books, 2 of them bestsellers. And I think that's where we'll stop for now. But that's just a little bit about me. I've been doing this for over a decade. And this is all I do every day, all day, besides being a family man. This is it. This is my life. I don't have a life. That's why I'm up at midnight UK time.
Please, we are passionate about what we do. So like you said, if you want to, stay up a little late, I know I can't hang past 11 most of the time, but sometimes I get to 12. So
only special people get me up past midnight, Rosie.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Thank you. So let's dive right in. So what are some key components to understanding your target audience?
Great. Well, there's 2 ways to do this, right? First, you have to do it from your perspective, right? And that's who do you want to work with? Who can you get results for? And who can pay you, right? A lot of people compromise. They're like, oh, I could work with this person. I could work with that person. So if we're thinking about your ideal client, it's like, who do you want to work with? Who can you get results for? Who can pay you? And again, it does depend on the industry you're in as well. Now, the other way to do it is to really look for the behavior, the pain you're looking to solve. So you might not be looking for a person, you might be looking for a behavior or a pain. And then again, you have to find where they are, what are their buying behaviors, and what's the way and the messaging to reach them, right? But if we focus on service industry, it's very much if you're starting out, who do you want to work with? Who can you get results for? And who can pay you? Most people get the first 2 right, not so good on the third one. For some, self-worth, apologeticness. And so what you really want to do is make sure that, especially when you're starting out, but even if you're established and you're growing, is that there's always a joy in working with your clients, that there's always a passion, and they get you out. Like it wasn't really a challenge for me to stay up because I love what I do, right? It wasn't oh my God, this is a burden. Not at all. It's the same. You want to be excited when you're working with your clients, when you're serving your clients, when you're selling to your clients and you're getting them to buy from you. So that's the 3 components. Who do you want to work with? Who can you get results for? Who can pay you?
Yeah. And then, when you're first starting out, sometimes that could be hard to determine, how do you determine that if you're first starting out?
Again, depends on the sector, right? But, in a service industry that, it's normally you a few years ago is a good example. And again, it really does depend. If you're a consultancy or if you're building a consultancy, then again, where were you a few years ago? What were the services you needed, right? If you're like in the health space, the coaching space, often it's you again 2-3 years ago. What was it you had to overcome 2-3 years ago? So if you model yourself as the ideal client 2-3 years ago, that's a good starting point. But again, it's so industry specific that I can give you, the answers I can give you. And I work with a variety of industries, a variety from tech entrepreneurs to coaches, trainers, consultants, authors to influencers. And, where they tend to start is their pain point. So even tech entrepreneurs who are building platforms, they tend to start with the pain that got them to build that business. Because often we build businesses because we've had a pain or bad experience, right? That's why we go, I can do that better. And that's where it starts. So if you look at Richard Branson, when he built Virgin Airline, it's because he had a terrible experience with an airline. He's like, right, I want to do that better. So who's your ideal client? Someone that had a terrible experience with an airline. Do better, right? So you can go back to the pain point you experienced that inspired you to start that business.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the best way to captivate your audience?
Well, it's really simple, right? Be interesting, right? We talk about being more giraffe. And what do we mean by that? We mean standing out, rising above the rest, daring to be different. And, that doesn't necessarily mean controversial or louder, right? It means be interesting, because if you're not interesting, you're vanilla. And a lot of people are like, well, that's just not me. That's not true. You've got to understand we create content for our users, not for you. We create content to attract your clients, right? And so all you need to do is be interesting in the delivery and make sure what you have to say is interesting. If you're saying the same thing that everybody's saying, you will be boring. Full stop. Be interesting. Find a way to stand out, whether it's through your delivery, whether it's through your energy. Some people I sometimes, very rarely, I sometimes do my YouTube videos in a giraffe outfit to catch the eye, right? But equally, you don't want to be a joke. So you have to find the right balance. There's a chef, I can't remember her name. She does YouTube videos which are themed in different movie styles. And she creates dishes according to like Star Wars and Batman. And, she's built a whole career around that. Find a way to stand out. And a lot of people think it's hard work. It's not. You know why it's not hard work? Because very few people do it. So when you do it, you'll stand out. And that's how you do that. That's the answer, people. Be more giraffe. # be more giraffe.
Be more giraffe. I know. And that is so challenging too. And I always say, because our audience is women over 40. And,
Yep.
you're so nervous and people don't want to offend anybody. So and then especially with, the cancel culture that we're dealing with, they're so scared to be their own unique self. But I so agree. You just need to be yourself, find something to stand out, something about you that you can, make different, and just try to go for it. And it may not come to you right away. It may take months to figure it out, but just get started and then figure out how you can be unique.
Yeah, just dare to get started. Start before you're ready is one of the things we say as well. And, find your style, find it. And the other thing is, what, you will not please everybody on this planet. All you need to please is the people that are likely to work with you, right? Yes, there's the cancel culture, but you know what? You miss all the shots you don't take, right? If you never take the shot, you'll never score. Full stops. If you don't get going, you'll never know. Now, one of my clients last year, she was on a really big cooking show here in the UK. She got to the top 4. She said one wrong word and she experienced what you're talking about. Huge backlash online, thousands of hate emails. But you know what? She came back. She recovered, right? Unless you say something that's utterly idiotic, racist, sexist, horrible, you can bounce back. And just remember that often you bounce back stronger if you're good at knowing how to bounce back. And that just means having a preemptive strategy. But don't even worry about this. Here's an interesting thing. I was listening to this other podcast, and he talked about he's been blogging for years, and he's had 50,000 comments on his blog. Do you know how many of them were negative? 9. 9. So if you're going to, give such small amount of people weight, you'll never move. So get going, go before you're ready, stop making excuses, be more giraffe, get your ass up there.
No, and I just want to stay here for such a minute because that is so true. We often just focus on the negative. And like you said, 50,000, then 9. And then for some reason, people will get stuck on the 9. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Exactly. Let's get moving. And the people need good people, right? We need good people. Like the year we've all had, we want the good people to be heard. And if you're not standing there speaking out, someone else is. So you might as well claim that spot. Please remember that. Yeah. Where there's a void, it will be filled. You might as well fill it.
Yeah. Now, can we talk a little bit more about creating content with value and then generating revenue from that?
Yep. That's a question.
How can we do that? Let me ask.
Okay, cool. So if you think about, here's the thing you really must understand when we're talking about this journey. You create content to attract your ideal client, right? Mm-hmm. The content has to be, I call it the octopus, right? So it's like you can create one piece of content and then it goes to multiple channels. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be relevant. And it's got to be something that your reader, your listener, your viewer is interested in. It's not necessarily of course you have to have an interest and a passion for it. But that's why we produce content. And these days, you have to be a content machine. It's not good enough anymore to just do, all right, a blog a month. No, because you know why? Your competitors are writing 4 a month. Yeah. So you have to be an output. And even if you're a speaker, an author, a coach, an entrepreneur, business owner, your business must have an output of content because everybody's competing for attention, right? Now, once you've got the content, then it's about really pulling them in. And it's not about going, sign up for this, buy this. It's about the subtle distinctions, right? That pull them in. If I can help you out, reach out. If this resonated with you, feel free to drop me a message. It's the subtle, the micro selling is what pulls people in. Of course, then you can do a campaign and sell, right? I'm not saying don't ever sell, don't ever directly sell, of course. But you really want to work on a ratio between 6 to 8 to 1 because everybody else is doing that. Now, if you add more value and you're speaking your language, the language of your clients, then people are instinctively going to reach out to you. If you're adding enough value, if you're doing enough to serve your community, your audience, they will reach out to you, right? But you do need to tell them to do it. And that's the thing. You can produce amazing content. People go, that was nice. And then someone produce the same content, go, call me or get in touch with me or send me a message or let me know how you thought about this, and they'll win the business. So you do have to have call to actions in your content. And if you do it consistently, add value, but consistently call them into some form of subtle action, you're going to win business.
Yeah. And I so agree with the call to action. You always have to have it. Like, just say, like you said, whatever you want them to do. If they hear it enough, they will do it, Right. So I so agree with that. But so many people just don't do it. But whatever you want them to do, tell them to do it. So, yeah.
Right. So I think people sometimes, I think some people just think because they're so fabulous that people are just going to come running to them. And unless you tell people what to do, we won't do it. And please remember that you are fabulous, but tell people how to get a bit of your fabulousness, if that's a word. I don't think it is, but it is now.
Yes, it is. Now, the 12 hooks to create engaging content that you have identified. Let's run through those.
Yeah, let's do that. So just to be clear, this is mainly for video, okay? But of course, it can work for blogs. I'm sure it can work for podcasts, but we've designed it specifically for videos, right?
You're in the right place. We do videos here.
There we go. That's what it's about. So this will work perfectly. So hook number 1 is you start with, can we all agree it's time to stop? ... right? And so what you want to do there is create common ground with your viewer, right? Can we agree it's all time to stop beating ourselves over the head, playing the victim, you're really calling them in for that commonality, right? So that's hook number 1. Shall I just keep listing them out and you'll just...
Yes, and I'll answer, yes. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Then the number 2 is, I get asked this a lot. And what I want to say when you're doing videos, please don't go, especially when doing content video to attract your client, you're losing valuable time going, hi, my name's Elliot K. No. Go straight in with a hook, right? Because you've got 4 seconds to get their attention. And if you're going, hi, my name's Rosie. I'm just using an example. You could lose them. Yeah. You wouldn't, but I would. So I go straight in with a hook. Yeah. So the second hook is, I get asked this a lot. And this is what I'm saying. I'm sure you do. So just grab the questions you've been asked a lot, and tell people what you get asked. Now, of course, from that, we're trying to think of something not ordinary that's going to make it different, right? So I get asked this a lot. Elliot, why is it that I tell a story and it doesn't work on stage? So you're also pulling on a pain point. But you don't have to. I get asked this a lot. Why is my skin so nice? Talk about, especially if you're selling skin products. I get asked this a lot. How come I look 25 when I'm 65, right? Again, looking for that common ground. So that's number 2. So you've had, can we all agree it's time to stop? I get asked this a lot. And the next one is blank harming your blank, right? So is your way of thinking harming your progress in business? Is your self-esteem harming your ability to get out there? Is you being 40 plus harming the way you're thinking about the world, right? Again, calling out the pain there, calling out the commonality. And again, we want to get specific. So is there something specific in your ideal client you want to call out? So that's a really good one. So that's number 3. Number 4, then this is more storytelling. Let me tell you about the time when I was on Rosie's show and we sat there and we discussed content creation. And then what happened was this one person went and implemented one of these hooks and their business exploded. So do you want to know what these hooks are? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a bit storytelling. And again, by the way, all these hooks, Rosies, is what people do very naturally. All we've done is put them into a little flow, right? Mm-hmm.
No, and I agree with it because you do, like you said, you only have a certain amount of time. You have to pull them in. And so when you do this, when do you circle back? I know we have more, but when do you circle back to introduce yourself, or should you, or do you hook them in and then come back, or should they go to your website to figure out who you are?
Good question. It depends on the channel they're watching it, right? For example, if they're following you on Instagram and you're doing this on Instagram, then they're following you, but they might come across it. So yeah, it could either be follow me, or reach out to me. You can say, hey, I'm Elliot K, but when I've started doing a lot of IGTV videos, what I found is I just say what I've got to say. Mm-hmm. People then click and find out. But at the end, I'll go, look, if I can help you out, reach out. And then I'll get that message. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, I don't really know a lot about you. Can we talk? So when you deliver value with a CTA, a call to action, right? Then and it's very well done. Look, can we agree it's time to stop blank? And I go on a rant about it, which I believe is the next one. Yes. No, it's not. Anyway, it's time to stop blank. Look, if that resonated with you, reach out to me. You don't need to go, and by the way, I'm the co-founder of Speaker Express, because then it becomes salesy, right? Mm. You are selling, but it's the micro selling. So reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. Then someone go, I really liked your video. Can you tell me more about yourself? Or I really liked your video. I've checked out your website. Let's talk. So people will naturally go through that process. Mm. Or they'll come back and go, is this person consistent? So they'll watch more of your stuff. I mean, I don't know about you, Rosie, but I find sometimes I'll look at my Instagram, and we've just relaunched a new Instagram. So the numbers are fairly low, but suddenly there's 10 likes from the same person. And it's because they've watched something and then they've looked at other stuff. So they will do the research and they'll start following you and watching you. And with enough micro call outs, they'll reach out to you as well. Yeah. Right. So that's the answer to that question. Shall I carry on?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Number 5. If I hear this one more time, right? That's if you want to have a little rant. Yeah, that's a great one for ranting. But again, you rant in a way that your audience is going to sit there going, yep, that's right. Yep. They're on it. Yep, that's true. Right. So if you are sick of hearing that, reach out to me. Yeah. So again, to just be relevant with the problem. Number 6 is I was speaking to someone the other day and they asked me this question. So it's another way to circulate and insert a question that's in your audience's mind. I was thinking about this the other day, and This person asked me, how as a 40 plus woman can I start a business? So you're immediately calling out your audience, your ideal client, so to speak. Number 7, can you recognize the warning signs of blank? So, again, you're calling out the pain points as warning signs. Are you, can you recognize the signs of you're tired, you're not quite there, you're a bit angry, you're a bit stroppy, and then you're calling out again the pain points. These are different ways of doing it. And the other one is, do you really need blank to blank? Yeah. So do you really need to, do you really need to have gone to Oxford to launch a business? Right? Mm-hmm. Those kind of things. And then number 9 is blank causing you to lose / miss out on blank? So is the fact that you're 40 causing you to miss out on opportunities of building a business of your dreams? Is being a woman who's 40 plus causing you to miss out on building the business of your dream, right? So again, it does depend on the industry, but we really want people thinking, are you making excuses? Are there 40-year-old women out there who are very successful, have just launched businesses? I think the answers are yes. What I can help you with is really help you go through that process. So if that resonates with you and you want to overcome that question in your mind, then reach out to me, because I want to make sure that you don't miss out. So let's have a chat. Write something like that. Everybody watching us on YouTube, make note, write this down.
Yeah. So does the hooks work for any format? Like, say if you're interviewing people, does it still work in the beginning and then you go into that dialogue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I could go, Rosie. So the next one is number 10. Are you leaving blank on the table? So let's say I was interviewing you. So Rosie, do you feel that women 40 plus are leaving money on the table by not pursuing their dreams? Or do you feel that women 40 plus aren't as good at selling? Right? Mm-hmm. And therefore, they're leaving their life on the table. Do you see what I mean? So that you can use them for interview questions. These are great for blogs. These are really good for written word as well. If you use as a title, if I hear X one more time, blog, mm-hmm. Right? I don't know if they work on TikTok because you only got 15 seconds. But,
right.
Maybe if you're really good. The next one is, who else wants to blank? So who else here wants to build the business of their dreams, speak on the stages of their dream? Who else here wants to truly pursue their path of having a purposeful business? Again, all of these are designed to call them out, right? To call your people out. And then the last one is my biggest learning from. And I've started to do a lot of these. My biggest learning from the other day. And people love that because it's reflective, it's insightful. And as long as it's heartfelt and it's genuine, right? Again, they'll prompt a response. And I often talk about vulnerability. I did one yesterday on my IGTV about self-doubt, and don't fight the self-doubt, accept it's going to be there. And then as a result of that, people just, again, comment, they reach out. And again, with that small call to action, so listen, if there's any way I can support you in this, just reach out to me. And people do. Right. So those are 12 hooks for you. Did I pass the test?
Yeah.
No, Jackie.
No, you went through it so fast too, but I just think that those are great. And I'm actually going to incorporate some, because I think you do need to hook people right away when you start talking, and you want them to stay. So you definitely have to get them and then just continue on with the adding value and the great content. But I think that is a good way to, and you have 12 now. So there you go.
There you go. Well, I have sent it to you guys. So if you want to send it to your guys, you send it to your guys. You've got it. It's yours.
No, thank you. No, we will definitely put a link in the description so everyone can get them and hopefully start using them, and then check out some other stuff that you have as well. So what marketing, as far as marketing channels, what are the best ones for people to connect with their audience?
Yeah, we get this question. No, in fact, we interviewed a social media expert today on Clubhouse. We were in a room every day from 12 o'clock UK time. So it's a bit early for you guys. But we do get people in New York wake up and listen to us on the way to work.
Clubhouse is 24/7. Yeah. So if you can't
Exactly.
sleep or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so we are there.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting question because the answer is it depends who your audience is. And I know that's not an answer that's giving you the exact thing, but
Mhm.
you know, if it's Instagram and that's where your audience hang out, it's Instagram. If it's Clubhouse, then it's Clubhouse, right? If it's Facebook, it's Facebook. Here's what I will say to answer that question. Choose one or two and focus on those. That's it. Do not do YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, right? You can have a presence on the other platforms. You do. I have a presence on all platforms, but my attention is on two right now. It's on Clubhouse and it's on Instagram, the new handle. I very rarely on Facebook now. Again, you'll see I post here and there, but my focused attention is there. Why? Because I'm getting to connect with people on Clubhouse. People are getting a feel for me. We then move them to Instagram and then we have conversations. And because of that, that's where my attention is right now. So I wish I could give you, look, if you do this, it's this. If you want this, it's this. You know, it really depends who your ideal client is and find out where they interact the most. Not just have a presence because you want engagement more than anything. Smaller following, highly engaged is much better than higher following, disengaged. Believe you me, I've got over 10,000 followers on one Twitter account and no one's engaged with me. But that's also because I've changed so many times. That's fine. I'm going to delete it anyway, but don't tell them yet.
No. No, I so agree. You can't be on all of them. And I think that that's a mistake that some people try to do. And especially if they're first starting out, they want a presence on everything. I think a good rule of thumb is just to get a name on each one, just in case.
Yes.
But, you know, definitely pick one or two and then focus your attention. So I definitely agree with you. So what's next for you?
What? Oh, good question. Good question. I wasn't expecting that one. I was ready for more content questions. Now you're asking about me. I'm lost. No, I'm kidding. So this year, my 5th book is going to come out. It's all about being more giraffe. Mm-hmm. And it's a very different concept of a book. It's not your normal, you know, like the other 4 I've written, just lots of words. It's actually a very different design book. So I'm excited about that. The real focus is profile raising activities right now for me to really expand, devise really great partnerships. You know, the Elliot and Jose show on Clubhouse to really make that something. You know, I have a partner in crime that we have when we do the daily show on that to create a meaningful presence there is really the focus, because as someone that trains public speaking and speaking, you know, Instagram is great, but they'll never get the feel for my energy fully as they would as they hear me. So that's why the focus on Clubhouse. We've just got a new investor in the business. So there's an emphasis of really growing the numbers and then in 2 years to launch in another country, which has always been my thing, to launch in another city, in another country. So that's kind of what's on the horizon right now. And of course, like many people out there, just to really recover from the pandemic and what that's done to, you know, businesses and economies globally, but especially locally. So that's what's next. And, you know, to be there for my little children and to be the best husband I can be for my wife. And that's the forefront of everything I do. So, you know, I stayed down here until we came on live so I wouldn't wake her up, you know, so she wouldn't get all stroppy. She's terrible tired, you know, she's not a good tired. And I just don't want to have to deal with her tiredness. So that's what's next for me. More growth, more reach, but more than anything, giving people the tools to really use their voice for good. You know, that's what drives me. I want to support industries to really transform the world we live in. So my kids have a really good world to live in and know that I've been involved in some way in shining the light on great causes. And that's what's next for me.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I share that passion with, you know, getting people's voices heard. So we are here.
That's right. That's it. We're connected.
And how can people stay connected with you?
Cool. Yeah. So I guess best thing is Instagram. If you look for stand_out_academy, that's the new handle. Obviously, they can still find me on Speaker Express. I've got 3 handles. All of them have different messaging. But the newest, most kind of like on brand, the one for what we've been talking about is stand_out_academy. And on Clubhouse, here on Clubhouse, you can follow me. I am Elliot K. So Elliot K is here, ELLIOTKAY, and just put I am Elliot K. And that's the best way, really. I think, if you want to reach out to me there, please do. You guys have the hook, so feel free to distribute them amongst the guys. I haven't sent you the link. I've sent you the PDF, but if you want, I can get you a link. But more than anything, I just hope that I was able to serve your people and they can do something with it and they can go out there and make a difference. If I never hear from them ever, that's okay, as long as I've been of service to your audience, and that's what really matters to me. So, but if it resonated, please do connect, and let's stay connected.
There you go. Thank you so much, Elliot, for being on the bandwidth. This was a great conversation. Like I said, the 12 hooks are great to, capture people's attention and get your message out there. So thanks again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So if you are not following us, we ask that you please follow. Definitely comment your biggest takeaway from this episode. Follow us also on Facebook and IG. And if you are ready to go live, definitely sign up to get the 3 must-have tools. So we will see you next week on another episode of The Bandwidth. Bye-bye.